Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and what is he doing? This doesn't make sense for MBT clips. This is the channel for cut up pieces of stream and those 30-second videos where you cut off a scream at the very end. Well, MBT clips is kind of like a second child to me, and like every second child, I love it a little bit less than the first one. So you're going to get my unfiltered, rambly, low-effort slop. And today I've got a pretty good trough for you. This last weekend, I accomplished something I'd been talking about doing this month, which was the hat trick, getting to rated duels in Master Duel, King of Games in Duel Links' Speed Duel mode, and King of Games in Duel Links' Rush Duel mode, the highest rank you can achieve in every Konami-approved way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd wanted to do this for a while. It's not particularly difficult. It's just a personal goal I set for myself, and usually, unfortunately, I just don't have time to do it. A lot of these are a big slog, but this month, I had a bit of a reprieve between the end of the summer semester and the start of the fall semester in school, so I got a chance to actually accomplish it. I saved Master Duel for last, because previously I've done Master Duel and Rush and then looked at the amount of games I'd have to play of Speed and just gone, no, there's just no way. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the decks that I used to do it, the platforms in which they exist, and I guess their associated formats as well. None of this is going to be particularly new information, I think. Oh my god, Joseph played 2x Ryziel. That's crazy. But I think it might be interesting to hear in terms of perspective. So first and foremost, let's talk about Ryziel Fiendsmith. This is the deck that I played to rated duels in Master Duel. I got it a couple of days ago, and I like this deck a great deal. A lot of the reason that I played it is because I'm familiar with it in paper, and I liked it in paper. But it is not the dominant way to play Ryziel on Master Duel ladder. That's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we got 7th Tachyon early, which locks you out of non-exes and makes the Fiendsmith Engraver feel really bad. I still think that Engraver has a lot of benefits to playing it with respect to a lot of the hand traps that beat the Ryziel builds like Droll, but don't necessarily deal with an established Fiendsmith setup, or at least it gives you a little bit of backup space if your duo drive gets impermed. I liked the deck. I don't think I would change too much. Maybe my non-engine ratios, Perulia should have probably been in here, especially during the last part of the climb. I realized that's a really good card. And this card's at 3. Triple Tactics Talents, what the hell? Really good in a format with Ryziel Detonator. I want to talk a little bit about the decks that I see on Master Duel meta with respect to Ryziel. They are, you people need to get out of the kitchen and start eating. I don't recommend takeout often, but maybe here it would be appropriate. People in Master Duel are totally addicted to going first. They're like, we're building for going first, just like Hoban said, in a format where you really can't guarantee you go first particularly often. Or if you are going second, like nothing you put in for, or if your opponent makes you go first, nothing you put in for going first is going to help you. The one card I saw a ton of was 7th Ascension. You can't need Engine that bad. These names are a 3 with the exception of Ext. There's a lot available for you. But even so, I guess that's just a consistency thing. I saw a lot of Ryziel Plasma Hole. This one makes a little bit of sense. The board that the pure Ryziel builds go for in Master Duel is like blind access to Baguska plus a detonator plus a Starliege Photon Blast Dragon to prevent like a Mirror Logic from checking the detonator. But of course, the Mirror Logic still checks the field spell. So like it is still really high utility, high value. The other card that gets played occasionally in the pure builds of this is Ryziel Plugin, which I think is defensible. As you can see, we don't have access to twins, and Plugin is a way that Detonator can at least have a little bit of recoverability against like its #1 nemesis in Triple Tactics Talent. You can search it off of Star Ryziel, even in a world where you get to the field spell using the effective duo drive. But listen to this stuff people are playing in their extra deck. Infernal Flame Banshee is incredibly common. They're like, we have to be able to get a pyro, right? There's no other way to get them other than making a 4. You're making a 4 without access to a pyro to get a pyro? That's crazy! A lot of people are playing the other 101 to 104 for 7th Tachyon, a Star Cestus, the Batlin Boxer, so they can get fires. That's unbelievable! Why do we need to make space for a full armored Utopic Ray Lancer in everything? Does this deck have problem cleaning up boards and doing damage? It's really strange. People are just playing stuff, man. A little bit with respect to Master Duel proper. Despite the fact that this was the shortest of my climbs in terms of the amount of games I had to win, it was a slog. I did it pretty quickly. I had like an 80% win rate the entire time, but it still felt like really rough. And that's for the reasons you know. A lot of Master Duel games are determined by the minigame, which I find particularly abhorrent. It frustrates me to no end. Very seldom did I feel like a game was decided based on the strength of our ability to play engine against each other. Rather, it was decided based on either a game of Go Fish with respect to lingering floodgate hand traps like Droll and Maxi, or you just didn't have them and you got full comboed into the sun, and there's no way to break a board of either of these strategies without relying at least a little bit on non-engine. I want Master Duel to be competitive, and that's why it frustrates me so much that it is just not in a space where I feel particularly comfortable recommending it to people who want to hone their own competitive skills. I think it's rough. It is rough. Let's talk about Duel Links. So if you're unfamiliar with Duel Links, it's the old way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, courtesy of Konami's Gacha Simulator. I'm going to begin with Speed Duels. So Speed Duels, if you're unfamiliar, is the old way to play Duel Links. It used to be the exclusive way to play Duel Links back when what you were doing was spending $300 on copies of Dunamis Dark Witch. Here's the main difference between 2018 Duel Links and now, and I'll just click this button. That's the skill I'm playing. So the way skills are designed now, they play the deck for you, and here's how they do so. Firstly, they usually impose a restriction on the cards you can play in your deck. Here, it's you can't special summon any monsters with a level except Fallen of Albaz, Despia, Dark and Light level 8 or higher monsters. Then, 2, reveal a Despia or a branded opening in your hand, then add a Despia or a branded opening from your deck to your hand, then add a Despia Theater of the branded from your deck to your hand. They have a portion of the skill that just gets you all the cards you need. And 3, if only your opponent controls a monster, send a Despia monster from your deck to the graveyard, then you can add a branded in red from your deck to your hand. It gives you a bonus effect if you are going second or your opponent has wiped your board. Now, I may be in the minority here, but I think this rocks. It is such an elegant solution to so many of the fundamental problems that playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Causes. First and foremost, I will say, as a person coming back after a hiatus, having to read all of these long-ass skills sucks. And the reason it sucks is because it's in a really unintuitive place in the UI, and you have to, like, scroll all the way back up, because otherwise it's just going to show you the part they're activating. You got to go back to the top and be like, when did it activate at the start of the duel? Here's all the text on it. That was really annoying. But once you get them down, it is really enjoyable that you never brick, that your opponents never brick, that their deck has to be so full of engine to trigger the skill that you will be playing engine versus engine almost every game, and that you don't feel like absolute dog shit when you lose the die roll because you're like, oh shit, I get to start with an extra branded in red in my hand. That's so unbelievable. I love this system. And honestly, having played a lot of like 2018, 2019 speed duels, I vastly prefer it to the way that games used to play out. So what this deck attempts to do is make Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, and if you're unfamiliar, in Duel Links, all of the burn effects were cut in half to accommodate a 4,000 life point pool. This one was not, because it is a payment, not a burn. And for that reason, it's busted as shit. It's not unbeatable, though, because you only have to really dedicate half of your deck space to engine, because you never brick. You get to play a ton of non-engine. Book of Eclipse outs this. Forbidden Droplet outs this. I saw a ton of Book of Moon, of Forbidden Chalice, of Dark Hole on my climb. All of these deal with this card under certain conditions. Of course, you can protect it from Dark Hole. What this deck aims to do is make Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, and then get like an Aluber and a Dramaturge on your side of the field, which you link off for a Condemned Dark Lord to search Dark Lord Morningstar, which you can then summon on your opponent's turn with branded in red into the first Dark Lord, which wipes your opponent's board. This sounds crazy, but it's really only okay. It does win the game a lot of the time, but not always. I mean, especially in the mirror, things like branded opening can protect their stuff. You get into Dark Lord Wars a lot of the time. Forbidden Droplet does deal with this card that otherwise can't be targeted. One of the things I like about the extra deck in Speed Duels is that they've curated the card pool in such a way that it resembles NR. Like, these cards that just do everything aren't really there. You know, Baron is in the Master Duel both a card that can be part of your end board and a card that outs your opponent's board. Here, it's like, yeah, the cards you get to play are the on-theme guys, and maybe some conditional negates that require your opponent not to have anything to deal with it or interact with how you perform the negation function. I love this format, and I love this game a great deal. Like the TCG, or Master Duel rather, the metagame in Speed Duel feels pretty stratified. It feels like Despy is the best deck by a lot, followed by Shadow, which occupies, I guess, Ryziel's slot. And then there's other decks you can play. The difference is, one, there's other decks you can play, and two, I think all of them have what it takes to make King of Games really easily. Ancient Gear is like Earth Machine. Chimera is the budget option, but also really, really layered. It gets to make Nightmare Magician all the time thanks to the skill. Sky Striker is just the same way it exists in the TCG, and Utopia has one of those busted skills that plays the game for you. Really, really cool stuff. Rush Duel, I played Hero. This deck is pretty self-explanatory. It uses the old Hero monsters and this card Fusion in order to make Flame Wingman into Shining Flare Wingman, which is an OTK, or you can make Elemental Hero Burst Wingman, which pops back row. I liked this a great deal. The skill enables you to search Fusion more frequently and means that you almost always have access to some of these really cool cards. They have a card that we don't have in the TCG, Rising Hero Argent. This card allows you to reveal like one of the vanilla named guys from your extra deck, and then you can add the vanillas named on it if they appear in the top 4 cards of your deck from your deck to your hand. In theory. In practice, what this card reads is normal summon this card, do nothing. The deal with Rush is they're kind of hurting for trap cards. This card, Shiny Shady, is the only good trap card, both in Duel Links' version of Rush and in Rush proper, which is really funny. It's like you have to play around exactly one card. And I mean, Rush is just so fun. I talk it up all the time, but you're just going all the time. It's a blast. In order to get to Rush King of Games, I had to go plus 37 because I started from Rookie. In order to get into Speed Duel King of Games, I had to go plus 97, courtesy of starting in Rookie and the extra ranks and like levels within ranks. The only bad part of both Speed Duel and Rush Duel is it's trapped in Duel Links. It's trapped in Duel Links. So Farfa got a lot of shit a couple of weeks ago when he made his video entitled The Decline of Duel Links about how Duel Links was really cool and good, and he calls me a clickbaiter. Anyway, he got in a lot of trouble because at the end he was like, it sucks that Duel Links cost so much money, although I did spend $50 and I got like 3 meta decks. I got a lot of the branded stuff, the Chimera, and of course he had Emancipators that he was gunning for. But, you know, I just wish it had costed less. And he got like 1,000 videos calling him a stupid know-nothing idiot, which is true, but not for this reason. He said they were saying that it was because, oh, $50 you got 3 meta decks. In the TCG, you couldn't get 3 meta decks for $1,000. And I just want to address that real quick. This is going to shock many of you at home, but Farfa is wrong. He's just totally wrong about how much those decks cost. I think he saw that he was getting some of the branded cards, and he was like, I guess I have most of the branded deck. Like, I got a couple of Alubers. I basically have the branded deck. That's not true at all. Like, all of these cards being URs from different places makes it prohibitively expensive to get to them, even if, like me, you have a base of staples like DD Crow in your collection already. This deck cost me $250. I'm comfortable spending that amount of money because I know through videos like this and the streams we did with this deck, I will probably make it back in some way, but like a lot of people don't have that option, you know? Same with the Rush Duel deck, almost the exact same amount of money. Of course, I had almost none of this, but still, I mean, be reasonable. If what you want to play is in a main box and it's a required UR3 of, you're going to have to go through that box 3 total times. And that's just for 1 3 of UR. God forbid they're split up into 2 boxes or you're splashing something in your strategy. Like, $50 for top decks doesn't seem like a lot. But being more realistic, you are playing a gacha game. They're not letting you stop at 50. They certainly didn't let me stop at 50, and I felt reasonably lucky when it came to my pulls, with the exception of one of these Burst Wingmen, which was the literal last card in the pack. The other thing that kind of irks me about this argument is it's an argument about ownership. Like, when you purchase the TCG cards, they are not going to hold their value over time. Obviously, there's a super aggressive reprint policy, but they'll hold some value. If you get something like an unexpected medical bill or an unexpected expense, and I've been in this position a ton of times, you can move them for cash. You own them, and they are yours to do with what you wish. These are digital. Someday, hopefully in a far-flung future, they are going to pull the plug on Duel Links. And when they do, all of these cards are going to vanish into the ether along with the money that you spent on them. There's no resale market for Duel Links. There's no crafting system. There's no mechanism to get more for the cards that you already spent. It is a gacha game. They gotcha. I don't know. It is just a type of ownership that I think people have been conditioned into accepting by the way that games work now. And it's so frustrating to see someone pointing out an intuitive understanding of the fact that this is exploitative and being met with, well, paper is more exploitative when he just got the numbers wrong. Anyway, these are the decks that I used to get there. I really cannot talk up Rush Duel and Speed Duel in Duel Links enough. I just wish they weren't in fucking Duel Links. I really hope that things are done to Master Duel. I think the future of Master Duel, or the future of Yu-Gi-Oh, is digital and will occur on Master Duel. And I wish there were decisions being made that reckoned with that fact, that it was being given the chance to become the great way to play Yu-Gi-Oh that I think we all want it to be, the competitive way to play Yu-Gi-Oh that I think we all want it to be. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. See you on stream, I guess. Bye.